this second video, I will be demonstrating how to weld a very simple part which we see here on the table. It requires 3 welds. First of all, a tack weld on the right hand side there. After doing that, we then weld this left hand side, and then finally we complete the weld back on the original side. Now, to create that weld, we need to first of all load our template up again. Once we've done that, we have 3 welds, so we need to put 3 ColWeld nodes in our program structure. So we go to Structure tab, and then we click on, we've already got one, so we just click on ColWeld twice, and that gives us our 3 welds. So the first weld we will do on this right hand side, and we will move the torch down to create that tack weld. Now, we don't have a special tack weld feature, but what we can do is just add the same point in twice to create our tack weld. Having done that, we then need to think, well, having done this weld, when we come across here, if we just do that as a direct move, we're going to hit this central column. So to avoid that, we need to create a preliminary point that moves the torch over to here before then moving across to this left-hand side to do this weld. So I'll show you how to do that now. So move the torch up to a point about there, and then we insert a preliminary point. We then move the torch down to the first weld point. We can add a point. We then move it to the end. We can add our second point for the second weld. Once again, when we move to this other side, we need to consider that we don't want to collide with our column. And so we create another preliminary point for our third weld. And then we add the first point of our third weld. Move it to the final point, and that is it. We've now created our 3 welds, and hopefully we don't see any collisions. So we'll now simulate that. There's your tack weld. Having done that, it then moves to our preliminary point, avoiding colliding with this structure. We then proceed to do our second weld on the left-hand side. Okay, once that's happened, it then moves to the preliminary point once again, and then we do our final weld. As I was observing that, I noticed that I wasn't particularly happy with the torch angle for this point here. So there's a feature, there's a block of the down the bottom of the ColWeld software node. We can edit our points. So we move to that first point on the third weld. We then move to that point, and then we can just adjust our torch angle slightly. Having done that, we then change that point, and that is it. We are now ready to start welding.